Welcome to another episode of Unscripted. This is the Kelly Cardenas podcast, and honestly, attitude determines altitude, and attitude is everything. I've got a couple questions from a bunch of you. Well, a couple questions from a few of you in the last couple days. First of all, people were like, why should I listen to Proverbs anywhere away? Why are you reading from it? So just divine inspired word of God, 3,000 years strong and written 3,000 years ago, and all the principles in it. What's amazing is that the principles 3,000 years ago are applicable in every area of our lives today, in our business and our relationships and all of our lives, our friendships, everything like that. But what I always say is test it. Test these things that we're talking about, this age-old wisdom, which is amazing. So again, 3,000 years ago, it was written. This was before Jesus was on the earth. And then it depicts his character. It's amazing. Today's episode is on Proverbs 12. It's the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. This is Unscripted. I'm so excited that you're here. We've been getting so many great comments that are coming in. And another question is why did you choose the Bible? And I said, well, it's not from a religious standpoint, but it's from a wisdom and principle standpoint. And it was because a lot of times people had challenges reading the Bible, but because they didn't know how to apply it to their life today. So they just kind of almost turned it off a little bit. But that's where we want to dive in. We're going to dive into Proverbs 12 today. Thank you so much again for being here on another episode of Unscripted. Let's get this party started.
Cause we believin', it's for certain. We put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Welcome back to Unscripted, Proverbs 12. I want to thank every single one of you who's been watching, been rocking with us. If you want to go back to episode 319, we've been doing the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. It is January 12th, and we're going to do Proverbs 12. What I invite you to do is send in your questions too. Disclaimer as always, I'm not a Bible scholar. This is just my opinion, but I have been reading it for over 30 years on a daily basis, and it's been amazing in my life. So let's jump right into Proverbs 12. The words that we're going to be dealing with today is discipline, righteousness, diligence, being noble, prudence, honesty, knowledge. Think of that. Just imagine if you just turn the podcast off right now and you just worked on those things: discipline, righteousness, diligence, nobility, prudence, honesty, and knowledge. And imagine if you just applied them in your business, your relationships, and in your life. And I said yesterday it was about, apply these to your leadership, to your culture, and your systems. This is not just about from at all from a religious sense. It's from a relationship sense. Religion is a ritual on deeds trying to get closer to God, and a relationship is just communing with him and having a personal relationship. So in this verse too, it mentions righteousness 8 times. Let's go right into point number 1, the love of discipline. It's verse number 1. This proverb starts off with a bang. And here we go. Point number 1 from verse 1. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. In our men's group, every time we read this corresponding proverb for this corresponding day, we all laugh right when it says that, because it's so curt, it's so to the point. And imagine, let me read it again. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. And if we just look at that, it's unbelievable. And It speaks for itself. Point number 2, the Lord's favor. And this is in verse number 2 and 3. Good people obtain favor from the Lord, but he condemns those who devise wicked schemes. No one can be established through wickedness, but the righteous cannot be uprooted. Whenever I think about this, I think about business practices. I think about times where we could cut corners, where we could do the deal, and the deal isn't on the up and up. I've been watching Suits lately, and every single time Harvey Specter is like, well, there's a way to get around it. It's not right, but we'll be able to win. And every time that I've tried to do something that is not right, but I could win, it may give me a victory right away, but it doesn't over time. And another thing that has been on my heart, and I want to let you know of, is, again, these are my opinions, and this is my study. This is not me preaching at you, telling you all the things that you need to do. This word is reading me. When I was studying last night on Proverbs 12, what I realized is there's a lot of things that I need to look at in my life. Am I doing right work, which is diligence? So let's go on to point number 3. This one, I heard quite a bit from my buddy Craig and from my buddy Sean Finnegan. Big hat, no cattle. It's in verse 8 and 9. And it says, a person is praised according to their prudence, and one with a warped mind is despised. Better is a nobody and yet has a servant than pretend to be somebody and have no food. Let me say it again. Better to be a nobody and yet have a servant than to pretend to be somebody and have no food. Big hat, no cattle. That phrase has been said to me from my friend Craig in Texas, that a lot of people talk a big game, but they don't have a lot going on. And then there's the guy who doesn't say much and has all the game. Which one do you want to be? Point number 4. This one comes right. Tim Story has said this to me over and over and over again. He says, those who work their land will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies have no sense. Work your land. This is what Tim Story has said to me over and over and over again. And Greg Reed told me the other day, you're standing on acres of diamonds, so why go search the world for diamonds that are out of your reach? You're standing right on top of it. The book, 3 Feet from Gold, the concept, 3 Feet from Gold, that came from Napoleon Hill. Guess where it came from, guys? In verse 11 in Proverbs 12. Let's go on to point number 5. Point number 5 is speak life and work hard. That's what I noticed was the theme of the whole entire proverb today was to speak life, meaning speak directly into someone, use their name, and use specific acts or things that they've done that inspired you, and then just work your land. Like work your land, work the things that are around you. Put your head down. You've been given gifts. Work what you have right now as opposed to looking at all the other things that all the other people have, and this is where I fail the most. So speak life and work hard. This is in verse 14, verse 18 and 19, verse 22, verse 23, verse 24 and 25. It's everywhere throughout this. Point number 6, stay patient. This is verse 16. And in verse 16, it says, all who are prudent act with knowledge, but fools expose their folly. Oh, actually, let me go back to that. It says, a fool will show their annoyance at once, but the prudent will overlook an insult. Just slow down and stay patient. Fools will show their annoyance at once, but the prudent will overlook an insult. Slow down, stay patient. Your time is coming. Point number 7. What I did read just a second ago was chapter 13, verse 16. So we'll go into point number 7. Promote peace and have joy. This is the one that I noticed in this proverb that said, if you do this, you'll get this. Promote peace in people's life. Speak life to them. Work really hard. Work your land. And guess what will happen? You'll have joy. What's joy? It's the art of falling in love with your current circumstances and allowing the magic to happen. There's a difference between joy and happiness. Joy is based off of a viewpoint and a choice. Happiness is based off circumstance. I got the job. Yay, I got the girl. Yay, I got the man. Yay, I lost the job. Boo. You go high, low with happiness if you're chasing that. But if you're choosing joy, you'll fall in love with your current circumstances and allow the magic to happen. Let's go on to point number 8. Point number 8 is association. This one comes, I hear this all the time from Greg Reed, the association, the people that you put yourself around. And I had this happen the other day. I had a friend call me and he said, I had somebody that was a friend of mine ask me about your character because there was a couple of people in pictures on social media with you. And we were wondering if you were, the same or you were in the same character. And we had to say, no, I'm not. But what I learned, this is a word named mashak, or a word called mashak, which is a Hebrew word, and it means to rub off. And this I got from Tim's story. And just be careful of the people you put yourself around because they'll rub off on you. Point number 8 comes from verse 26. And in 26, it says, the righteous will choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. Choose your friends wisely. Point number 9. Here we go. Point number 9 is just right work. It's in verse 27. The lazy do not roast any game, but the diligent feed on the riches of the hunt. When we're lazy and we're not doing right work, we could be lazy but busy at the same time. And this is where I've been at times in my life where I am lazy because I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not doing the thing that I should be doing. I'm just keeping myself as busy as possible. We went over this a couple of verses ago or a couple chapters ago, motion versus action. Motion is just busy. Action is moving towards your desired result. Right work is diligence. This comes from Gary Spellman. It comes from my brother Rob. It comes from my friend Julie Compton. When you're doing exactly what you need to do, guess what starts to happen? The right thing. So choose the right thing for the right reason, and the right things will turn out. Gary Spellman, Rob Cardenas, Julie Compton. So as we wrap up today, simply speak life and work your land. In Proverbs 12, it talks about speaking life over and over and over again. It actually talks about it in verse 14, 18 through 19, 22, 23, 24, 25. Speak life, meaning use someone's name, call them, text them, email them today and say, you're absolutely amazing because of this. And then work your land. Every single one of you has a gift. And when you start working and walking in that gift, you bless every single person around you. And then their superpowers will fill in for your weakness. As I finish up today, I had a question come to me from Mr. David Hamilton, probably one of the wisest men and one of the biggest inspirations in my life. Not because I would say that number one was my pops and my number one was my mama and pops. I got my brother in there, I got my wife, but I tell you, David Hamilton is up there in my book. And he called me or texted me yesterday and he said, what is the difference in 5 words or less between righteousness and unrighteousness? I had to think about it for a little bit. And I had to pray about it. And what I came up with and what God gave me was not listening to God. I hope you had a great time on Unscripted today, Proverbs 12. Make sure that you speak life, that you're working your land, and that you tune in again to Unscripted. Send in your questions. This is a study. This is a thing that we're going through together, and I want to tell you how much I appreciate your time and appreciate your energy and attention. It never goes unnoticed. You're incredible. I appreciate you. Be encouraged today. Peace, love, and soul. I'm officially off the hot seat.